Hebrews, Hebrews, Hebrews. This is our Prophets of Awakening. This is our Shabbat class, 27th of April, 2024. Okay, we're gonna be dealing with kind of piggybacking off of last night. We'll be dealing with the signs of the end of the apocryphal books. Read some things out of that, and then we'll break it down. Okay, you can go to our YouTube channel, The Prophets of Awakening. We have a lot of videos with a lot of information. You can check them out. These videos will connect dots for you, and they'll give you, lead you into the truth of the Holy Scriptures. And if you like what you're hearing and receiving, I'm asking you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Okay? It'd be greatly appreciated. So we'll let you know about our hours that we're on. Prophets of Awakening on the channel is Tuesday nights, Wednesday and Thursday nights. We're on from 7 to 9 p.m. Central Time, and then we come on Clubhouse on Friday nights from 7 to 9 Central Time. That's p.m. Then we have 2 Shabbat classes on Saturday from 10 to 12, and then a.m. Central Time. Then we have a closing out the Shabbat, which normally lasts about an hour, a little over an hour, on Saturday evenings from 6 to 7 Central Time. That's all p.m. Okay, so with that being said, this is a non-Messianic channel, and by that I mean we deal with the Tanakh and the Torah. Tanakh being the Old Testament and so-called Book of Remembrance, and the Torah is the first 5 books of the Old Testament that was given to Moses on Mount Sinai. The Lord also is bringing them up to par on everything that happened in the world from the time of creation until he met Moses on Mount Sinai. So he brought him up to par. This also includes our laws, statutes, our culture. It's all consistent in the Torah, right? So shalom and welcome to this channel, and welcome to our Shabbat class. Okay, we're gonna do our normal, which is a moment of silence, Sabbath prayer. We'll read the Psalms, and then we have some current events, a little need to know information. Then we'll open it up for some questions and comments and dialogues. And then we'll go into our topic for discussion, which I said earlier was signs of the end. And I'll be in 2nd Ezra, I'll be in 4th Maccabees, and which connects some dots. Okay, so with that being said, this moment of silence is for the Lord of hosts and all that he's doing to bring about our prophesied deliverance in these last days. Okay. So Lord, we thank you for your great mercy and for your great power and wisdom. And we tarry waiting for your powerful deliverance of your people, Israel. Oh Lord, you have given us insight into the scriptures of our forefathers. And you, O Lord, have delivered us, directed us to who you are and your role in the goings on of heaven and earth. When we come this Shabbat day, doubtless that you will appear and that you will gather your nation from among these Gentiles. Oh Lord, you spoke through your prophet Isaiah and said that you would help Abraham's seed, and that you have scattered it. And you have completed that promise as of this day. You said, oh Lord, that you would remove the darkness from around us. Tarry not, oh Lord. Latter days are here, and we are waiting and watching for you. Peace be unto you. Okay. So with that being said, read a psalm. Okay. Okay. I'll read Psalm 46. It's God is our refuge and our strength. Okay. God is our refuge and our strength, a very present help in trouble. Therefore will not we fear thou the earth be removed, And though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof, Selah, there is a river, the streams whereof shall make glad the city of God and the holy place of the tabernacle of the Most High. God is in the midst of her. She shall not be moved. God shall help her in that right early. The heathens raged, the kingdoms were moved. He uttered his voice, the earth melted. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. Come, behold the works of the Lord. What desolations he hath made in the earth. He maketh the wars to cease unto the ends of the earth. He breaketh the bow. He cutteth the spear asunder. He burneth the chariots in the fire. Be still and know that I am. I will be exalted among the heathen, and I will be exalted in the earth. The Lord of hosts is with us. The God of Jacob is our refuge. Selah. So that was Psalms 46. So verse 1 pretty much sums it up. It says, God is our refuge and our strength, a very present help in trouble. And verse 2, therefore will we fear thou the earth be removed, and though the mount, therefore will not we fear though the earth be removed, and though the mountains be carried into the midst of the sea, though the waters thereof roar and be troubled, though the mountains shake with the swelling thereof, there is a river, streams where we make glad the city of God, the holy place of tabernacle of the Most High. So even though all that happens, it says that God is in the midst of us, and she will not be moved. God shall help her, and that's right early. That's the her, and that is Israel, or the nation of Israel. So though all these things happen, he's always going to be there. He's going to be in the midst of us. So that's something that you can bank on. Anybody else have any comments on that? Okay, we got the current events. I think they're pretty interesting. We'll check them out. I've got a few warnings in here.
We can't save you from being tagged in a fail video, but we can save you big bucks on your bill. Get Optimum Internet.
For the millions and millions of people here in the United States, we are now being warned of more potential problems because the United States has many situations that we have to deal with, and we need to deal with these immediately. The problem is we are not. So if you want to protect your money, you want to make sure that there's money there, you can buy food, pay a car payment, keep a roof over your head, well, you need to watch this entire video. Because what I'm going to explain in this video, some people say is shocking because they didn't realize all this stuff is happening right now. So make sure you watch this entire video. But all I ask is one thing. It takes 2 seconds. Go ahead, hit that like button if you enjoy these daily updates. And now let's begin. So why is the United States in trouble? Well, it actually has many different reasons why we're in trouble, but all these reasons affect this. And if you are not making more of this right now and putting it into a safe place, then you are going to be screwed in the future. Here's why. I want to go over some of the different issues that the U.S. is facing right now. Because one of the questions I've been getting a lot lately are, and one of the statements too, is why do you not have a lot of good things to say? Well, the problem is there's a lot of bad things happening right now. But if you watch mainstream media, they leave out a lot of the bad news. They don't tell you that, and there's good reason for it. Because studies have shown that if you provide bad news, the advertising revenue is lower. More people are willing to watch a good news video than a bad news video. Okay? So as far as advertising dollars and making revenue, which these mainstream media companies are supposed to do, well, they're not going to tell you that stuff. The other reason why is because of Bidenomics. One of the things I can tell you right now is President Biden has been saying that Bidenomics is working. The Biden administration says they are doing everything that they can, and it is working. The economy is strong. Well, here's what I can tell you. It's not as strong as you may think. We have had persistent inflation recently. This is causing prices to go up. This means the thing that you used to spend $2 on for, let's say, fruit and vegetables, now is costing you between $3 to $5. It's gone up that much, and it's not going to stop. Gas prices will continue to go up. We're going to see home prices continue to go up. Rents are likely to go up. Everything is getting more expensive. Just take car insurance, for example. In certain states, they won't even insure you. And this goes even further as far as home insurance, right? Flood insurance, fire insurance, right? The tornado, hurricane insurance, all this stuff matters. It's costing you more money. Here's something else you may not know. The Federal Reserve is having a very difficult time cutting interest rates. One of the things that we have faced over the past several years is we have faced rates going up and down. And well, when they were down, everybody wanted to buy a new car, wanted to get into a new house, wanted to go and get additional, credit card debt, right? But then when it started to tick up, everybody did not want any of those things. The problem now is we still have new car payments that are over $730 a month. Okay, the average new car payment is over $730 per month. That means for many people, they would have to work usually about 1.5 weeks just to make their car payment. That does not even include how much they have to work to make their mortgage payment or a rent payment. And that's where things get serious. Here's another problem. We have geopolitical tensions. And, yes, there's possible wars, there's threats on U.S. troops and here on U.S. soil as well, but it actually has to do with China. China is becoming a real threat to us here in the United States for multiple reasons. One, we have more Chinese nationals coming across the U.S. southern border, and they are entering illegally. The other issue is regarding Chinese products. China has been, they've been told that they're making too many products, too many EV products, solar panels, systems, whatever. And it's diluting the American market. It's meaning that people making stuff here can't sell their products because they are seen as so expensive compared to the Chinese products. Because China's made so many, they're selling them at pretty much low prices.
A retired Florida couple found a...
Okay.
The issue. This is causing problems here in the U.S., which means more manufacturing plants are having to lay off employees because they can't keep up with the demand from China. But not only that, China is sending people over to the United States. They are buying farmland and they're doing manufacturing and all this stuff, but they are using a lot of their systems, artificial intelligence. And that is causing a huge concern here in the U.S. because that is causing more companies to lay off some of their employees. Just look at Google and Microsoft and Amazon. They're laying off employees left and right because they have to. They overhired over the past few years. But as more companies decide to lay off employees, that means our unemployment rate will go up, means less people can afford food and a car payment and housing. And again, it all goes back to housing. We have an affordable housing crisis. Right now in the United States, it is becoming a dire situation because most people are spending over 70% of their monthly take-home pay on housing alone. That means that's 30% that they have for food and they have for a car payment and medications and Netflix and a cell phone and go to the fun center and go do all these different things, right? 30% is not enough. And experts recommend, financial analysts also recommend the same thing, is you should be spending less, okay? You should be spending less than 40% of your income on housing. Some people say 50%, others say you need it down around 30%, but the average is about under 40%, you should be good. Here's another issue, and this is where the United States is in a huge problem, is we continue to spend. Just recently, Congress passed a $95 billion foreign aid package, sends $60 billion to Ukraine, $26 billion to Israel, another $8 billion to the Indo-Pacific, or mainly Taiwan. And we continue to spend money, but as far as bringing money in and reducing our deficit, well, we're not doing that. And that's a problem. The other issue is we have a Social Security insolvency date. That's 2034. That's less than 10 years away. And if we do not get a handle on Social Security, we do not get a handle on our spending, we don't get a handle on the minimum wage crisis and employment, we're going to have a bigger situation on our hands. But again, it doesn't stop there. Okay, we continue to face all these different things, all these different crises at the exact same time. This is also one of the reasons why the FBI has said the United States has never faced this many conflicts at the same time. This is unheard of. Okay? This is
it's biblical. Anybody have any comments on that? Okay. So we got another one right here.
On October 19th, 2020.
Okay.
Leader reportedly thanking his country's armed forces for the attack on Israel last week, saying that Iran, quote, demonstrated its power. This coming after Israel's retaliatory strike on Iran on Friday, which damaged an Iranian air defense system. Iran says now it has no plans to retaliate there. But the New York Times is reporting this morning that Israel, quote, planned a bigger attack on Iran, but scaled it back to avoid war. Joining me now is America First Policy Institute Center for American Security co-chairman, Fox News contributor and former national security advisor to President Trump, and VP Mike Pence. Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg back with us. Lieutenant General, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks very much for being here. Where do you see this Iran-Israel conflict moving next?
Maria, thanks for having me this morning. Good morning. Look, I think everybody's starting to take, to use a military term, taking a knee, which is sort of taking a deep breath for what happened. With the Iranians, put a pretty significant complex attack against the Israelis, where they used ballistic missiles, they used cruise missiles, they used drones as well. Well over 300, the largest direct attack from Iran on Israel that they've had. And then the Israelis responded quite well with an attack on Iran. And here's what actually happened when you look at it. The Israeli defense system worked really well. It's a tiered defense system, air defense system with the Arrow, which is the upper end against the ballistic missiles. Then you had David Sling, which cruise missiles, and then the Iron Dome, which against figured drones, plus the other allied support in the air. It really was able to defeat most of those systems coming in. But here's the kicker. When you look at where those missiles were heading, especially the ballistic missiles, they actually hit Nevatim Air Base. And Nevatim is right next to Dimona, which is the nuclear site for Israel. The Israelis responded. When the Israelis went back, they went to Isfahan. What's at Isfahan? It's right next to the Natanz nuclear facility of Iran. And I think both sides all of a sudden realized, we're at a level now. We're starting to cross something here, which could get pretty dangerous when you're attacking both countries' nuclear facilities. And there they actually created a bit of a deterrence level, We didn't do that. I mean, remember, this is an administration that said to the Israelis, don't, or to the Iranians, don't, and they did. And then the Israelis, well, don't go, take the win, don't respond. And the Israelis just disregarded that. So I think what's happened now, you've actually seen a level of deterrence established by both sides, which is good. Good for the Israelis in the sense that now they can focus in on Hamas, focus in on going down and finishing the job down at Rafah and completing the mission that they have there. And the Iranians saying, okay, we'll take a little bit of a win and back off from there.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, this next story is pretty stunning. I want to get your take on how Israeli leaders are now criticizing these reports that Secretary of State Anthony Blinken is about to put sanctions on an Israeli Defense Forces military battalion in the coming days. They are accused of violating human rights back in 2022. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu posted this on X. If somebody thinks they can impose sanctions on a unit in the IDF, I will fight this with all my powers. Lieutenant General, I mean, where are the sanctions on the human rights abusers in China? Where are the sanctions against all of the abuse that we're seeing from communist China in so many other ways? Instead, they're turning their sanctions on the IDF in the middle of this war?
Yeah, we really send very, very mixed signals, this administration. To start with, on this unit they're talking about, it's called the Yehuda Battalion. It's Orthodox Jews. Normally, the Orthodox Jews don't join in the military of Israel. They do now. And that's because when you look at the population of Israel, it's about 16% Orthodox. And they want to bring that manpower in. And it's actually a unit that's actually operating in the West Bank, not in Gaza itself. And then you look at the administration, it's almost like, look, start supporting your friends. Make a very clear line of who we're with. Because the adversaries, your enemies, they always look for a gap or a seam. And if they see a seam or a gap created by the United States, that they're trying to be, quote, equal-handed, it's wrong. We should look at the Israelis and say, you're in a fight for your life. We're with you, full stop, and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, look, the House passed the $95 billion foreign aid package on Saturday. The slate of bills includes $60 billion for Ukraine, $26 billion for Israel, humanitarian aid for Gaza, $8 billion for the Indo-Pacific region. It is now headed to the Senate, where it could pass as soon as tomorrow. Yesterday I spoke with Utah Senator Mike Lee, and he said this was a bad bunch of bills, particularly the $9 billion that he said is going to Hamas. So your thoughts on that humanitarian aid that is going to Gaza, which Mike Lee seems to believe it's going right to Hamas?
Well, Marie, it is going right to Hamas. Where do they think it's going to? Of course it goes there, because Hamas is the ruling entity within Gaza itself. But when you go to this large bill, you look at the Ukraine bill as well. It's almost like a pox on both your houses. First of all, the Ukrainians have fought valiantly against the Russian aggression. But when you look at it, you look at the House and say, look, there's ways you could have set this to sold this to the American people and sold this. I'd ask them, look at your history. If you go back to the 1941 Lend-Lease Act, when President Roosevelt was in a lot of trouble with the American people, who were very isolationist at the time, there was a way to sell an aid package to a very concerned public, and that's a perfect way to do it. And when you look at the Ukrainians, I also push back a little bit on them as well. Look, if you're in a fight for your life, then mobilize, 100% mobilize. And said all they do, they reduce their draft age from 27 to 25. And I said, let's pull up all of your people, fully mobilize the country to go to war. So you kind of look at it, there's a little bit of, concern on everybody's side out there. Now, saying that again, like I just made a comment, the Ukrainians are in the fight for their lives and have fought valiantly against Russian aggression. But also when you look back on what's happening here in America, we owe it to the American people to explain how we're doing this and what we're doing. And I blame the Biden administration very strongly, because they have not come up with a strategic plan. As long as it takes as much as it takes is a bumper sticker. It's not a strategic plan.
Yeah.
And they owe that to the American people, and they've yet to deliver that.
Yep. Ms. Speak, jump in.
I could not echo what you just said more aggressively. There is no plan. I don't think from the beginning that Joe Biden has articulated, or our military articulated, a plan for victory. They didn't even ever talk about winning this war. So to your point, I think what the American people want to know, what will this incremental $40 billion mean? How will it be spent in such a way to shorten the war, to bring it to a conclusion, to win the war? Do you have any thoughts about how they could frame that?
Okay, anybody have any comments on that? So I'm playing this video right here for a reason, but I'm gonna deal with it in a minute. But like I was talking about last night, these people, they pros at being evasive, saying one thing, but they're doing something else. Like I said, perfect example of that is when they concocted JC and when they concocted New Testament. Is accomplishing something else. You think it's what they created it for was accomplish one thing, but you sitting there, the population dealing with something else. But it's actually accomplishing something totally different than what you wanted to create. For example, with the JC Christianity thing, it's Europeans, the Edomites created that, and so for what? You got Negroes and everybody bent out of shape behind that. But it was for manifest destiny. Like I said, they got this huge painting, which cost a whole bunch of money, of this red-headed white woman in the sky with the New Testament in her hand, floating in the air. That's who she's in front of the Europeans and the Edomites to conquer the world. That's why the Pope gave all these European countries the right to go conquer lands and take their spoils. It was all because of manifest destiny, but they had to set up manifest destiny first with the Christianity, which has come out of the mind of a white man. JC, so that JC, all that. They had to so it's when we sitting there arguing about Paul and apostles and all that, and Jesus real and all that, it's accomplishing already what they wanted to accomplish. We looking like nut buckets over here arguing about it when none of it ain't hitting no nut. But it's that accomplishing what they wanted to accomplish. They used Christianity to subdue the whole world. Got them under subjection with it. So anyway, another thing to look at is, if you notice all these people, they control the media, so everybody they talk to, they putting a take on what's going on from the Israeli mindset. They all tied to Israel. You noticed last night on the video, I'm gonna play it again today, that Biden he 100%, 200% behind Israel, and they keep on putting this facade out in the world on the news media that he got a problem with Israel when he don't. That's how they playing it. But all is gonna be solved in a minute. I'm gonna show you exactly what I've been screaming for the last 15 years. So, but I'm gonna play this. So I need to know information, then we'll get into it. Okay. Because this right here is pretty interesting too. So I'm gonna play this first.
This AI tool will.
Okay. Here we go.
Not your boy. Go black to Africa. I want to share this video with you all, the Igbo people. When I was in Nigeria, there in the Igbo land. And many people have believed that they have basically copycatted those Jewish people there that they call Israel when it comes to them wearing their shawl, whether it is the Star of David or even the menorah. And here, the Igbo people have a rich history of showing that this has been in their tribe for thousands of years. Now, this tribe here is the tribe of Gad, by way of their late ancestor, the son of Gad, which is Eri. So I want to share this with you all so that you can hear for yourselves of who were the original folks with the Star of Eri, which many people call the Star of David. And also a little bit more history that you're going to find quite interesting of how they perform and live and how their thoughts and things are. Enjoy the video. What's up, family? This is your man, not your boy. Go black to Africa. So we continue on the journey here in Igbo land with my brothers here, Your Majesty, the King of the Igbos up in Guinea. My brother, please reintroduce yourself too.
Odumobi the 6th of Idwere Kingdom.
Prince Nnamdi Nama, Eze Didi.
King Fidelis Agogo Gafo, Ezebo, Republic of Guinea.
Okay, so hopefully you all have watched my videos because I've wanted to debunk many of those who reside outside of the land of Africa, who are saying that this emblems are the king of the Star of David. And we're also going to talk about the menorah, how the Igbo people say they are the original ones who have proof that this Star of Ere has been around for thousands of years.
Yes.
Yes. So let's get into it, and I'm going to ask you. Let's start with the Star of Ere.
Yeah.
Please give the people the what's behind this, and the proof that you all have that you all didn't take this from those people of Israel,
yes,
but you are the original ones, yes, who actually have this. Please.
Thank you. The star we see here is the Star of Ere, and not Star of David. I know the reason why people call it the Star of David is because David is closer to the Western world. But here we are far from them. The Star of Ere is originated from here. And the proof is that Ere was before David. Ere was before David. And this star is here, where we are standing here. Many archaeological finders have found it 900 feet as this spot you are standing. This spot you are standing, the bigger one with the golden color is here. 900 feet to this place. So we found this as Star of Ere and not Star of David. And I know the reason why people call it the Star of David is David is the first one who built temple and who has become king to that side. But here, King Aguvel was before even King David. This King Aguvel died 2,960 years and he's alive. So this star is not of David, but of Ere. The fifth son of God. God is the seventh son of Jacob, Israel.
What does the star represent?
Okay. With this star now, the area inside it, when we mark this star, this space is Ere. If we are discussing something and it comes to be that it's hard for we to find the truth, we draw the star on the ground. With the white chalk, what we call the zoom. Then the person telling the story will enter that star. Whatever you say there is truth. For you to open your mouth inside the star and make words, the word that will come out of your mouth is truth. So we use it as a symbol of Ere.
Okay.
Yes.
Why the star, though? I mean, why the star, the symbol of the star? How did they come up with the star? Is there any association with the stars in the outer space, or why the symbol star?
The only thing is we embrace it because we found it here and it has been here with us. We use it for truth. As you look at now, it was blue on white. The golden is Ere inside it. So the blue and white represent the sky. You know, the color blue and white represents sky.
Okay.
Which is the utmost, I mean the Almighty. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah. Then the golden color represent our forefathers, whom we call Ere.
Okay. We know that I call this a Shah. The people there that is in the place called Israel that was created in 1948, they wear something like this. You're telling me you all have been wearing this for how long?
Okay, let me use this one. I am Odumobi the 6th, and I am 63 years old.
Okay.
Odumobi would be the 4th, the 5th. It's about 120 years ago. Odumobi the 4th was about 300 years ago. Odumobi the 3rd was about 400 years ago. Odumobi the second was about 500 years ago.
Okay.
Then the fifth was about 600 years ago. The sixth, I am the sixth, the first was about 700 plus years ago.
Okay.
So when you find the
Hey guys, if you
Okay,
already
any
know
comments so
exactly
far?
what you get.
You got a comment so far? Okay, let me get this right.
No comment.
Okay.
what I use it, my title, I inherited it from my forefathers. So for me to put on this, I am not the one who designed it. It's true now that we put it on clothes, but before we design it on the skin of animal. We use the animal skin with this design. If you go out, I'll show you the designs at the door of His Majesty. With this artificial person, we use artwork to design this stuff, and you put Eri there. So what I'm saying, at my own lineage, it's more than 700 years. You say 1949, which I know my father is about 20 years there.
The reason why I ask, I know, because there are many people believe that you all took this from the Israel people there in Northeast Africa. But you're saying this has been with you all in your lineage for hundreds, if not thousands of years.
Yes. I just mentioned mine.
Yes. You just mentioned just yours. Yours. Okay. And we see here, if you all can see, that the star also.
That's what you put on. Anywhere we go.
You put it on.
Yes.
Okay. And you've already explained the purpose of this. So I just wanted to, you all give the chance to.
So let's look at this. So you say, why you playing this? Okay, you go to the Old Testament. You notice when they listen in the lineages of Adam, Genesis chapter 5, and then they stop at Noah, right? We know a flood came, right? And the flood, everything that was, all the men that was listed and his sons. Let me read it right quick so you can get understanding where I'm going. So it says in Genesis chapter 5, says, verse 6, Seth lived 105 years and he begot Enos. And Seth, after he begot Enos, 807 years and he begot sons and daughters. So all these men, all we know is the ones that was called. When it says that Seth lived 105 years, begot Enos, and Seth lived after he begot Enos 800 years, and he had sons and daughters, but Enos was called. Then when Enos lived, it says that Enos lived 90 years and begot Canaan. Canaan was called, but he had other sons and daughters. So there's no need of trying to trace those lineages down. The flood waters killed all of them. But after the flood, let's look at after the flood. After the flood, Genesis chapter, starting, let me see where I need to start at. Chapter 10. Go to 21. And unto Shem, also the father of all the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth, the elder, even unto him were children born. And then children of Shem, Elam, Asher. So he listened to all the sons that each one of these men have. Well, these lineages still going on. Ain't no flood cut them off. So my point is this: little project. If you want to searching out for the truth, go and find out who Eri is. Go find who Eri is in the scriptures. It's E-R-I. So what they're talking about is this man Eri, which is he was going back his lineage over 1,000 or so years, long before 1948 with the Star of David and all that. That this star was attached to Eris and his descendants, which is part of the Hebrew people. So that's a whole nother road you got to go down, and that's another way they tricked us off. But we got all these lineages that just listed in Genesis chapter 10 after the flood that we don't necessarily deal with. And so many people thinking that they can look at that and say they can, when it comes to them with a lack of knowledge, they can make a call and say the Negroes ain't the Israelites. When you don't have no kind of understanding on nothing about what's going on with that. So you can't make that call. And that's just in one area. You have no knowledge on nothing, but you're making comments and making judgments on stuff you know nothing about. So brother showing you right here that, like he said, Cain descendants and Esau descendants, Cain descendants is an invasive species. They don't even supposed to be on the planet. But Esau intermingled with them. And this is what they do. So when you come to find out, the more and more you dig and do research, everything they got, they stole it from somewhere else. You can't take nothing and put it on them and say it's theirs. They stole everything. So this is a call right here to go find out what's really going on with Erie and what's up with this really what's going on with this star. So, and it's all kind of videos that I've been looking at pertaining to this guy Erie. So like I said, you can do your research on that. Anybody have any comments? Okay, so here we go. I played the previous video showing you how these people lie about this and lie about that. So what's really going on with everything we see going on right now in the world, right? I played this video last night. I'm playing it again right now. Then I go into the meat. Okay. Okay. Then you wonder why Joe Biden.
Whether or not in Israel, the United.
You wonder why Joe Biden in the position, why he's where he's at right now in this particular time in our history, why he's the president right now. Listen to some of this.
The United States of America would have to invent an Israel to protect her interest.
Joe Biden talking.
If I were Jew, I would be a Zionist. As a matter of fact, you don't have to be a Jew to be a Zionist.
I have had the view for the past 24 years that the only way in which there will be peace in the Middle East is when the Arab nations know there is no division between the United States and Israel.
What my record has been, and it's been unstinted.
So let's look at this. So you can't make these comments if you ain't in the scriptures. If you ain't in the Tanakh, if you ain't in the Talmud and dealing with the Jews, you can't make these kind of statements. He ain't just talking it. He all in there. He got to be going back and forth with Israel, having these classes with them, Bible study, Judaism. He got to know all that. He make these statements he making. Okay.
In the defense and support of Israel.
The United States has never and will never lose our resolve.
Israel will never waver, but I'm never going to leave Israel.
For the past 6 months, the images of a genocide out of Gaza have gripped the world. Razed neighborhood after razed neighborhood, mass grave after mass grave, mass slaughter after mass slaughter, fathers carrying their children's body parts in plastic bags, mothers screaming, looking for whatever remains of their families, children left without limbs, without faces.
What did these children do wrong? What crime did they commit to deserve tons of bombs on their heads?
While the genocide of the Palestinians is carried out by the state and military of Israel, the United States, under the leadership of President Joe Biden, has played the role of its sponsor.
The defense of Israel is still critical, so there's no red line.
We are not going to create any conditions
on the support that we are giving Israel to defend itself.
We will always be there by your side.
The United States strongly supports Israel and its right to defend itself from Hamas, and that support is unwavering.
I wanted to ensure, is that still the case that the administration has no...
So let's look at that. Based on all these statements from these all Edomites that we're listening to, they have no other interest. But we ain't looking at it like that. They got one, they all consolidated on one interest. And I'm gonna show you what that is. But anyway, so how you gonna, when you get to a certain point and understand what's really going on, how you gonna even, accommodate any of this? It's crazy. They driving toward a certain purpose, right? Like I said, none of the things you see, the escalation and all that you see around the world is not a coincidence. These people going somewhere with it. Play a little more of this, then we get it,
red lines. Since October 7th, the United States government has provided billions in military aid to Israel and unwavering political and legal support, both domestically and internationally, in addition to direct military support. But as the Biden administration and the Democratic Party find themselves in a political crisis in the middle of an election year, there's been a specific media narrative shift on who's actually running the show.
Nobody expects Prime Minister Netanyahu to do the things that must be done to break the cycle of violence.
It's curious to me to see Netanyahu talk the way he does when he tried to interfere in American elections.
We could go down the list of what Bibi Netanyahu has done to make Israel weaker, to make them open to that attack.
This line isn't necessarily new, but it actively erases not only U.S. culpability in the genocide of Palestinians, but Joe Biden's own ideological support of it, and what his legacy should and will be.
There's no apology to be made. None.
Welcome to Backspace, where we look at how the story is told in the headlines, and then we think about how we can tell it a little differently. On March 18th, the Washington Post published this article detailing how President Joe Biden had found himself deeply entangled in a war he does not want and that threatened to become a defining element of his tenure. The article, drawing from 20 interviews from administration officials and external advisors, reported that the Biden administration was well aware 3 weeks into Israel's bombardment of Gaza that civilian structures were being targeted and that there was no actual plan presented by the Israelis to...
So like I said before, they doing one thing, but they got a whole nother agenda. They got the whole world duped, and they've been doing this all the way back to I'm trying to think of those people, that the first dynasty in Rome, Flavians. They go all the way back to them. They're telling you one thing, the population one thing, but they got a whole other agenda they dealing with. So, like I said, we see right here all this money they've been spending with the Ukrainian war. Understand where Ukraine is. That's where the Esau came from. Before we came and stole the land of Israel and took on the title of the Israelites. Became the harlot, right? So we see right here all the money they've been sending the Ukraine war, all the money they've been sending over there to Israel for this, that, and another. But I want you to check this out. Okay, here you go. Okay. Yeah, here you go. Check this out.
Hello and welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in. The International Monetary Fund, the IMF, and World Bank.
That's the World Bank. That's where all the money is, right? Check it out.
Held their spring meetings in Washington, D.C. And typically, I would not even cover those meetings because they're just nothing to write home about if you follow the news and you do your best to connect the dots. However, these meetings were different, and I would like to take some time to explain why. The IMF actually criticized American, or I should say current administration's economic policy. we should not be surprised that Bidenomics received criticism, but what should surprise us here is that it was actually done by the IMF. And it can only mean one thing. Even those who up until now remained silent, completely silent, or even praised current policies for imaginary full-time labor market numbers and all these new jobs that were added on paper, now even they are starting to realize that they're having trouble saying half-truth or outright lies with a straight face. So here's what happened. The IMF stated that the economic policies are overheating the economy and effectively warned Washington that it is walking a thin line by running a $3 trillion deficit while ramping up its spending.
Okay, so let's look at this. So IMF, the World Bank, already warned these people that you already crossed the line, the red line. You crossed it already. You can't keep spending like you're spending. Look what they just did with Israel. It's all the money they just sent to Israel and Ukraine. So what they tell me, you already know ain't gonna be no America. Here real soon, ain't gonna be no America. You got something else going on. So to keep on spending, and you know, they told you that, they had a whole other agenda. But the whole world over here spinning around in circles with bullshit they didn't say it and done. Like Paul, when they concocted Paul long ago, Jesus, they spin around, flipping around with that. They have no intentions on, they know it ain't gonna be no America. That's why they said they pushing forward. This agenda on what, like I said, they headed toward they gotta get that Dome of the Rock. That's gotta go. When that Dome of the Rock go, remember who told you that. So anyway, the Dome of the Rock gotta go. First of all, they want to build a temple. It's been planned for a long, long time. That's why they can't go back. They can't stop and say we gotta be cautious on our spend. No, they gotta go 100 miles an hour ahead. They ain't looking back. They're not looking for no America no more, because they want to build a temple, and all the focus on the world gonna be in Jerusalem. That's where all the money gonna be at. Not only that, like I said, the fourth beast got London. Remember that, London. That's in Britain, right? London, the Vatican, and they got America. That's what makes the fourth beast is power. That's where it came to. So they want to take all three of those powers to Jerusalem. So they ain't looking for no more whatever up until this point. They ain't looking for no more America. They ain't looking for no more London. They ain't looking for no more Vatican. They want all this. What they doing is to bring all that to Jerusalem. That's their objective. They ain't looking for nothing to come out of there. So you say, well, what you talking about? Well, let's look at it. Look at this. Tie your shoes up.
Everything the Israeli regime have done, it seems there's no low in this ongoing genocide that will apparently prompt the UK government to do the right thing and take proactive approaches to dealing with the scale of destruction and loss of life happening in Gaza. But now it seems there might actually be an explanation for that, because frankly, I don't know which is the more unbelievable issue here.
Come on,
what this Tory government actually did months before the events of October 7th that are now seemingly tying their
before October 7th, this is what they did.
Hands over this genocide that's playing out in real time before all of our eyes. Well, the fact the mainstream media have utterly ignored it, leaving it to be unveiled by independent media outlet Declassify UK and their excellent journalism, because thank God there are some people in this country still capable of some actual journalism. Because we should have known about this well over a year ago. And they sure as hell didn't do this in our name or our interest, if they'd kept it so damn quiet. So here's what they've actually done.
Check it out.
Right, so what have the Tories done then, Damo? What is it that explains their consistent acquiescence to Netanyahu's regime then? Well, it's not news to say that Israel is considered an ally of the UK. We did have a hand in creating that now genocidal pariah state, after all. But the extent of that alliance goes a lot further than just warm words, and the memorandum of understanding that was signed between the UK and Israel back in 2021 itself an appalling act. Israel, after all, was behaving then no better towards the Palestinian people and their lands that it occupies then as it does now. But last March, the Tories beefed that memorandum of understanding up to an accord, and everything we've witnessed since has been in line with that new bilateral agreement, that policy named the 2030 Roadmap for UK-Israel bilateral relations.
Yeah, it did. It just made a bilateral commitment to UK and Israel. Started last year all the way to 2030. UK and Israel. So why? What's the big deal about UK and Israel? You go back to who got them in the land in 1948? It was Britain. They got them in the land. So you say, what are you talking about? Well, Queen Elizabeth and her lineage, where they say they came from. They from David's lineage. The throne of David. So they get rid of what a stone that David killed Goliath with under Queen Elizabeth, under the throne that Queen Elizabeth sitting on. But keep in mind, Queen Elizabeth dead. Go back to the redhead. That's on all the paintings on the wall, all in the Denver airport and in the Bank of America. So they have to move David's throne from the UK to Israel. That's what it's all about. None of this on this agreement right here with the UK and Israel on now news source. I just stumbled up on it. Most High, Lord of hosts. Yeah, so here you go right here. Ever since they done this is when everything wrapped up. Ratcheted up, just like October 7th. October 7th was a setup. Well, actually, 9/11 was a setup, but recently, when it intensified was October 7th. Ain't no going back. So all their resources they put into this. They own America. Like he said, go look at how this dude Netanyahu talking to everybody. How the hell is he a subordinate? And he handling everybody the way he is. Because they all on the same accord. They're saying one thing in the public through the media, but all you gotta do is look at it. Like the Most High said, behold, those who have ears to hear and eyes to see. So we see what they're doing. Like I said, the Dome of the Rock gotta go. If they can sit there and continue to spend money that they don't have, and they've been warned that what's gonna happen if they keep on, you think they're gonna take in consideration what these Arabs think about the damn Dome of the Rock? No, it's gonna go. They're on a suicide mission. That's why you see so much chaos. They know the world ain't gonna be the same the way it is now, because they through with it. It's all about ushering in this Israel, building that temple and ruling from Israel for 1,000 years. All that's tied to dogma and dogma and I can't say the word. I can't say it. It's not coming to my head. But it's Albert Pike, morals and dogma.
Morals and dogma, yeah.
Right. That's what we're looking at. It's 100 miles out. But we told, because we don't understand that. And so all you have to do is look at the other side of it. You can see where they're headed. Prophecy is on the other side of that. When you understand who these people are, then prophecy is illuminated. Because America done latched on to the harlot. Not the real woman, didn't latch on to the harlot. This prophecy is about the harlot in the book, in our Tanakh. But they got the whole world following what they didn't concoct. What Albert Pike didn't concoct. And Aleister Crowley. Okay, so I'm gonna play a little more of this, then we get some comments.
This on the government website on the 23rd of March last year, the same day it was signed by the Foreign Office and the Foreign Ministry of Israel. And apparently, nobody.
I'm hoping somebody do some research on that. This UK Israel made a deal last year on. Let me go back a little bit. Yeah.
UK-Israel bilateral relations, published on the government website on the 23rd of March last year, the same day it was signed by the Foreign Office and the Foreign Ministry of Israel. And apparently, nobody has ever noticed it.
Right.
And it is properly vomit-inducing in light of everything we've witnessed over the last 6 months.
Exactly.
To read it is absolutely stupefying. It's numbing.
Come on.
That's just how acquiescent this country is, this Tory government is to Israel. But now we know it is this roadmap that's being put into practice that we're actually seeing being reflected in the actions of our government. Here's an excerpt of the intro. The bilateral relationship has never been stronger. Our two countries complement each other's strengths as freedom-loving, innovative, and thriving democracies.
Look what this saying.
Israel and the UK are proud of our deep and historic partnership.
Look what this saying, according to the way they're acting. They're acting like they at odds, like a rift going off. But they just signed this right here, and look at what's being portrayed. Hold on 1 minute. Computer acting up. Okay. Yeah. Edomites. Yeah. Something going on. All of a sudden, we ain't got nothing. Ain't that something? OMG. We're gonna wait them out though. Got the Lord host on our side.
We are firm friends and natural allies. Okay. In November 2021, the British government and the Israeli government signed a memorandum of understanding, elevating the UK-Israel bilateral relationship.
Memorandum of understanding, but they at odds.
This represented a signal of intent for both countries to cohere, deepen, and expand cooperation across our mutual priorities for our mutual
priorities.
This roadmap outlines how this strategic partnership will continue to serve our collective interests. This roadmap, which defines our bilateral cooperation until 2030, will serve as a living document. Through regular high-level engagement, our bilateral relationship will continue to evolve as a more modern, innovative, and
so China and Russia has a Road and Belt initiative. Yeah, they got a road too. They got a roadmap too.
Forward-looking strategic partnership. Freedom-loving democracies, eh? For who exactly? Deep and historic partnership. Sure, it's one based on imperialistic colonialism. From friends and natural allies, because apparently our leaders are just as depraved as theirs are. Right. They're certainly prepared to keep arming them, despite the death toll rising in Gaza, reaching the 40,000 mark now, and well over 100,000 people injured alongside it. We have a government wanting to deepen and expand that relationship with the country doing that, Israel, when a majority of the public right now would much prefer we divested from them instead. Certainly, globally, we're seeing that. The student protests largely happening in the US, but not exclusively so, and the retaliation from the state against that shows whose side said leaders are on over there. So what sort of thing does this roadmap, which lasts until 2030, include then? Well, it quickly mentions security and defense cooperation, because of course it does. We see plenty of that, but it should be banned, of course. Our obligations under international law should supersede this verminous piece of legislation. Apparently, both are patriotic nations. Go stick a flag in it then. Naturally, there's a whole section devoted to anti-Semitism. There's a particular paragraph in that bit that's a real stinker. Tackling the disproportionate focus on Israel in the UN and other international bodies, including attempts to delegitimize it or deny its right to self-defense. All states have a duty to comply with their obligations under international law, but scrutiny must be measured, impartial, and proportionate. The UK and Israel will work together to tackle the singling out of Israel in the Human Rights Council, as well as in other international bodies. In this context, the UK...
So let's look at that. So he just said that in this agreement right here, the UK and Israel disagree with the use of the term apartheid in regard. So all of a sudden, UK It's the big deal is UK and Israel. But on the world stage, they got us believing that America and Israel, they connected at the hip. So where's so-called David throne at? Is it in America or is it in UK? So like I said, they waving one hand over here and they got the other hand doing something else. Got everybody thrown off. Same, it ain't nothing new. Same with JC in the New Testament. They didn't get you all this garbage over here. You fumbling with that back and forth. Can't even get out that trap. They got something else going on.
UK and Israel disagree with the use of the term apartheid with regard to Israel. The UK and Israel believe that the latest ICJ referral on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict represents an inappropriate recourse to the advisory opinion mechanism, as this undermines the efforts to achieve a settlement through direct negotiations between the parties, which remains the only viable path to a lasting peace. So apparently the UN are biased against Israel, and the UK will stand against that, especially where people talk of its right to exist, which is a legitimate argument within law, as was raised when Nicaragua took Israel to the ICJ, or deny its right to self-defense, which sadly, under the same international law you claim to respect, doesn't apply to people that it occupies. They have a right to resist that. But to actually attack the Human Rights Council for having raised issues and legislate that the UK will not recognise the term apartheid in regards to Israel is...
So let's look at this. Let's look at it so I can get your mind right. So let's go back 2,500 years ago in Israel. We had the law, right? So the same way they're doing right here, their objective is to disassemble the UN. And if you've been paying attention, that's exactly what's going on. They're getting ready to do away with the UN. Well, they did the same thing they're doing now with the law. These same folks. They got you believing that somebody came and did this and that to the law. They had attacked the law. Now we seeing who they really are. They, like I said before, their DNA is all messed up. Most High told us that. Where you think you get queers and all that from? That's when the angels came and infused angelic DNA with human DNA. Adam and Seth and Enoch, now them wasn't fumbling with that. So where it came from? It came from Satan slept with Eve and the other fallen angels slept with other people. That's where it came from. And the law got a problem. They can't handle the law. It's against all that. So the same thing they're doing now, they did it with the law. In JC in the New Testament. The law is a schoolmaster. All of a sudden, the law is a damn schoolmaster. Come on.
It's abhorrent. That is gut-wrenching. Israel is an apartheid state. It oppresses another people based on an ethno-religious basis. Right. Writing no on a piece of paper doesn't change that fact or other people's acknowledgement of it. Crucially here, despite international law and therefore the initial rulings of the ICJ superseding this farce of a document that is denied too. Right. But there's still more.
Nobody knows nothing about the document.
Another section is on defense and security, and here they devoted a whole paragraph to Iran. We work closely to counter the current threat from Iran.
What we dealing with now?
IRGC. We will work to ensure Iran never has nuclear weapon capabilities. We will seek to counter Iran's destabilizing regional activity, including weapons transfers conducted either by itself or through proxies, and we will confront the threat posed to us both domestically. We support a stable, secure, and peaceful region where all can benefit from the rapid advances taking place in closer social, economic, and technological ties. Let's not forget Israel attacked their consulate in Syria. If anybody's destabilizing the region, it's Israel. There was a response to that from Iran, a limited one, I felt, all things considered. But what did we do? Defend Israel from that Iranian attack, despite that, and claim the attack from Iran was unprovoked, along with the media supporting that, who failed to report on this nasty, grubby backroom deal with Israel over a year ago, back in March of 2023, or ever since. There is a lot more to this document. You can read up on it if you look up 2030 Roadmap for UK-Israel bilateral relations. It's all on the government website. But what I want to look at now is how this deal, this agreement, has been implemented, and how we can see it being reflected in what the UK government has done in relation to what's happened in the Middle East. For one, the UK is tied to taking Israel's side through everything we're observing even now. Though, as I said before, international law should supersede that. Yet clearly it isn't by the actions the government have been taking. Despite having seen 40,000 dead Gazans, all manner of international aid workers, not least British ones, being killed, arms sales have continued despite all of that. Declassified UK have covered numerous other incidents that can be pointed at in line with this agreement too, with Israeli military aircraft visiting the UK for we know not what, military aid being sent out, and the use of the UK airbase on Cyprus, RAF Akrotiri, which the US have been using to fly weapons into Israel via the Nebatim airbase, which was one of the military targets Iran chose, and it's
so they flying all kind of military equipment into Israel, but Biden got a problem with it, and Obama got a problem with Israel on the surface, but behind the scenes, you see what I'm saying? And that's in every aspect, everything. This just like I said, you got people talking about, oh, it's some good people. No, that ain't what the Creator said. Come on.
Shalom.
Come in.
Yes, sir. Just when you said that, Jeremiah 17:9 says, "In the hearts of the deceitful above all things and desperately wicked, who can we know it is? Who can we know it?" That means that, like you said, there's wicked people, and they're going to continue to be wicked people.
Exactly. So let's look at that. I mean, let's look at that. So I just broke down that. First of all, they tell you JC came and died for everybody. We know everybody ain't came from Adam. You got the angels came down sleeping with people. Then after that, giants sleeping with people. So Adam, when you look at Adam, was Adam heart wicked? When he made Adam?
No, sir. No.
Is his descendants' hearts wicked?
No.
Okay. So who are wicked? These folks.
Descendant of Cain.
Yeah. They hybrids. That's who heart is wicked. I'm gonna deal with that in a minute anyway, because I want to read something out of 4 Maccabees about reason. See, that's what the Greeks was dealing with. That's why I was telling you about Job. See, they dealing with reason. When the Most High talked to them prophets, ain't no reason ain't there. The prophet, the angel telling them what the Most High told them, and they receiving it and going to do it. Ain't no reasoning. These people the one coming with the reasoning. And once you see that, when you start reading, that's how you write a divide. What book is legitimate and what you reading is legitimate or not. How it's coming off. So look at what Job talking about. Shit, and Moses. Look at Moses dealing with the Lord of hosts, and look at Job dealing with it. It's a dead cat on the line. So let me finish this.
Response on the apartheid state after they attacked them first. Israeli personnel are receiving training here in the UK as well. The RAF itself, from Akrotiri again, have apparently been flying spy missions for Israel. Everything the UK has done leading up to October 7th and since is in line with this document that you almost certainly will have had no knowledge of at all.
So you want to watch that? This media silence, the UK Israel deal, you know absolutely nothing about. So this is my point. We know world history. We know we got the scriptures, Tanakh. We see all these things happen. This in October 7th, like the guy was saying, when they initiated this plan before that, but it got jumped off, and when they came and attacked Israel, supposedly, we know it's all a plot, agenda. They attacked him on October 7th. So you ain't know this right here. You running around with a finger in your ear. From October 7th to now, you got a finger in your ear. That's how these people operate. So you say, why are you saying that? So you should be humble. And not on that, wait on the Most High. Because we in that time that He's gonna reveal everything to you. Just imagine. You didn't know this. You mean, come on. That's how these people operate. Like I was saying earlier about Erie. We as Israelites, and we had no idea what these folks are capable of and what they done. All you can do is stay humble and stay connected to the Most High as best you can, and people that think like you the best you can until He reveal it. So it takes me back to Isaiah 52, last 3 verses. He says all of a sudden you're gonna see the real Levites and the real priests, and they're gonna be standing right there in front of Him. And then you're gonna have to reconsider everything. You think that's a farce or that's a joke? No. I'm telling you right there, everything been twisted all upside down. You don't know who's who. But He's gonna reveal it to them. They're gonna be all standing there. The lie's gonna be over with. Ain't gonna be no backdoor deals like this one right here that you need to know, but you don't know. This right here explains everything we've been seeing from October 7th up to now. How everything got ratcheted up. And everybody got their eyes on America when it's UK. It's the UK. Look at the dude that got it on. Like I said, you think it's a coincidence Biden sitting in the White House, and look at the guy in UK and all the drama that happened in UK to get that guy in office. That's behind. They got you. Like I said, they got a cloud. They just sprayed rat spray on us. They doing something else. We looking at this and they doing something totally different. But I've been screaming this forever and a day. You got it's. They done told you themselves. Queen Elizabeth told you she came from. She sit on the throne. Her ancestors sit on the throne in Egypt, the 26th dynasty. I mean the 29th dynasty, the last dynasty of Egypt, the Ptolemaic dynasty, and not only that, her people sit on the throne in Israel. Them ain't no Israelites. And you have to ask yourself, when did that happen? Ptolemy, that's an Edomite, he was on the throne. The 29th dynasty is on the throne in Egypt. Comes, what's his name, came, Antiochus Epiphanes came, and he consolidated the throne in Egypt. I mean, in Israel. That's the truth of the matter. And that throne right now is in the UK, in Great Britain. That's why the UK brokered the deal they did back to get Israel in the land in 1948. But who knows that? But now it's exposed right here. The nut bucket gave us the truth. Okay? Any comments, questions? Anybody got anything? Okay, yeah. So I was talking about earlier about this reason. Let me deal with that. Maybe to help somebody. So I'm in the Apocrypha. I'm in 4 Maccabees. I don't know if people familiar with that, but I'm in 4 Maccabees, and it ain't scripture to me, but it's got a revelation in it. I want to show you. So, chapter 2, 4 Maccabees. Here we go. This is a compatibility of the law with reason. Like I was telling you earlier, same thing they're doing right here, they did with our law. That's what brought Christianity, the JC are about, to nullify and diffuse the law, the Tanakh, the Torah. So it says, and why is it amazing that, you can't see this, these words so small. Why is it amazing that desires of the mind for the employment of beauty and it renders powerless? It is this reason, certainly, that the temperance of Joseph is praised, because by manual efforts he overcame sexual desires. For when he was young and in his prime, for intercourse by his reason, he multiplied the frenzy of passion. Not only is reason proved to rule over the fringes, urges of sexual desire, but also over every desire. So see that? So our forefathers, Enoch, all them, they ain't breaking shit down like this. Excuse my expression. They're not coming at the Most High and these angels and their way of thinking like this. This don't even come off the same way it come off in the Tanakh when you're dealing with our real scriptures. And the same approach right here is what Job doing. So like I said, what you reading is somebody outside of whoever it is that wrote this is not an Israelite. They outside our culture and they trying to do a comparison contrast with a narrow ass mind. Like I said, he looking at it and he talking about, well, this what Joseph did, blah blah blah. This and that. No, that's not how we look at it. That's how we deal with. We don't deal with the scriptures of reasoning. That's Greek. That's pagan. Start read a little more. You can read on your own. It's 4th Maccabees chapter 2. Chapter 2. But you can read the whole thing you want to. Well, anyway, it says, and by his reasoning, he nullified the frenzy of passion. Not only is the reason proved to rule over the frenzy urge of sexual desire, but also over every desire. Thus, the law says, you shall not covet your neighbor's wife or anything that is in your neighbor's, that is your neighbor's. In fact, since the law has told us not to covet it, I could prove to you all the more reasoning, right, is able to control desire. See that? So he bringing, all of a sudden they bringing in down reasoning into the law. From Greeks. Like Joseph, I keep reading out of Jubilees. Joseph the angel told Abraham told Isaac and Jacob that, don't deal with these people. They don't have no understanding. They don't think like you. They off. So they use reasoning and attack the law. Matter of fact, that's who JC is. Reasoning. Like I say, you say, what are you talking about? A woman was caught in adultery. He wrote in the scene, told him anybody that anybody that without sin cast the first stone. What is that? That's reasoning. But what did the Most High say? What the Lord of hosts said? What's written in heaven? If somebody caught in adultery, take them outside the city and stone them. Reason ain't got shit to do with it. And so once you get that in your head, you can go to the scriptures. You can see where these nut buckets is trying to throw you off and where they ain't. Like I said, go to Job. You don't see none of our forefathers talking to the Most High the way Job talking to him. That's coming straight out of the mind of the Greeks. Faggots. Come on. So, like I said before, you can go check that out on your own. I got one more place I want to go. It's this part of my topic for discussion. I'm in 2nd Ezra chapter 5. I'm gonna start reading this signs of the times, right? Read that. Anybody got any questions on what I was talking about? Okay. 2nd Ezra chapter 5. I'm gonna read that, then I'll close out. But it says signs of the end, right? It says, now concerning the signs, lo, the days are coming, and those who inhabit the earth shall be seized with great terror, and the way of the Lord shall be hidden. See that? The way of the Lord. What the Lord had told us, what the prophets had told us, gonna be hidden. And the land shall be barren of faith. Unrighteousness shall be increased beyond what you see, what yourself see. And behold, what you heard of formerly. And the land that you now see ruling shall be trackless waste, and people shall see it desolate. But if the Most High grants that you live, you shall see it thrown into confusion after the third period. So what we're looking at is Ezra is telling us this. So all this stuff is happening. It's being shown to Ezra, and immediately after Ezra passed away is when it's gonna happen. We're at the end of it. And like I said, what he's telling us, if you look back, you can see it. It's even going on right now. We're not dealing with what our forefathers dealt with. We're not dealing with the law. It's been skewed. And then he says the land that's ruling now ain't gonna be ruling. Israel ain't ruling. So he says, and the sun shall suddenly begin to shine at night, and the moon during the day. Blood shall drop from wood, and the stone shall utter its voice, and the people shall be troubled, and the stars shall fall, and one shall reign whom those who inhabit the earth do not expect, and the birds shall fly away together, and the Dead Sea shall cast up fish, and one whom many do not know shall make his voice heard by night, and all shall hear his voice. There shall be chaos also in many places. Fire shall also often break out, and wild animals shall roam beyond their hunts, and minstrous women shall bring forth monsters. Salt water shall be found in the sweet. All this stuff had already happened a long time ago. Okay, and shall be found in the sweet, and the friends shall conquer one another. Then reason, here you go. Reason shall hide itself, and wisdom shall withdraw into the chambers, and it shall be sought by many, but shall not be found. And unrighteousness and unrestrained shall increase on earth. We're looking at all that. Been here, right? One country shall ask his neighbor righteousness, or anyone who does right pass through you, and it will be no. And at that time, people shall hope, but not obtain. They shall labor, but their ways shall not prosper. These are the signs that I am permitting to tell you. And if you pray again and weep as you do now, fast for 7 days, you shall get greater things than these. Then I woke, and my body shuddered violently, and my soul was troubled that it fainted. But the angel who had came and talked with me held me and strengthened me and set me on my feet. And now on the second night, behold, Pethael. So I'm gonna stop right there. But anyway, it says, verse 14. It says, then I awoke, and my body shuddered violently. Right. So this some in-depth understanding on how everything goes. I'm gonna go show you this in the King James. It says, this is Ezra. Then I awoke. You just had a dream, right? Then I awoke and my body shattered violently. So what I want to show you is if everybody's shattering, Daniel's did, Ezekiel, all of them. Like I told you, when a vision is a man standing there with his eyes wide open. You got dreams at night when you sleep, but a vision is the man standing there with his eyes wide open. Matter of fact, the angel entered into him. So they looking at that. We're not getting a picture of that, but they sitting there looking at them. So what you think they're gonna do? They're gonna put fear in you. When he sent Isaiah to go talk to the Israelites, when the Israelite got there, he entered into Isaiah. Isaiah wasn't no more control. So they sitting there looking at that. It ain't like this bull crap they doing now in the church. So anyway, he says, 14. Then I woke up, and my body shuddered violently, and my soul was troubled, that it fainted. But the angel who had came and talked with me held me. See that? So he holding him. This is what I was telling you about. Ain't no the Chinese and the Egyptians and all of them. They ain't dealing with no angels like this. He holding him. He didn't have this vision. He trembling and he violently trembling, and the angel holding him. It says, but the angel who had held me. It said, hold on. But the angel who had come and talked with me held me and strengthened me and set me on my feet. So he said, what the hell are you talking about? Let's look at it. Go to Daniel chapter 10. So this is the cycle. This is the process. Like I said, if Daniel had a vision, then he violently trembling. The angel got to hold him. So you can't get no more communication than that. Ain't no these Negroes out here ain't having these kind of encounters. Shit. T.D. Jakes and all these so-called white prophets we've been listening to, they ain't going through it like this. So let's look at it. I'm in Daniel. And that means everything. So, and that's what the Creator talking about when he says heaven been shut off. You ain't dealing with these angels like that no more. Matter of fact, you ain't even talking to them. So, let's look at it. Get the understanding out of this. I'm in chapter 10. And I had told you, I talked about this before, that it's 7 angels. When Daniel had the dream, he says he came near to one of them that stood by me, right? So let's look at that. I'm in chapter 10, and I'm going to start at verse 8. Therefore I was left alone. This is Daniel talking. He just had a dream. Therefore I was left alone, saw this great vision. So I told you what a vision is. The angel entered into you. I had a vision, and there remained no strength. Go back to what I just read. There remained no strength in me, and my countenance was turned turning me into corruption, and I retained no strength. He violently trembling like he telling you over here. We ain't getting that understanding right here. So he violently trembling, like he said, my countenance was turned into me into corruption, and I retained into no strength. Yet I heard the words of his voice, and when I heard the words of his words, then was I in a deep sleep on my face, with my face toward the ground. And behold, here you go, what we just read. And behold, a hand touched me, held him, like a mama holding a little baby, because he tripping, he violently tripping. So he says, and behold, a hand touched me, which set me upon my knees and upon my palms of my hands. And he said unto me, O Daniel, man greatly beloved, understand the words that I speak unto thee, and stand upright, for unto thee am I now sent. And when he had spoken these words unto me, here you go, I stood trembling. Then said he unto me, fear not, Daniel, for the first day that thou didst set thy heart to understand and to chasten thyself before thy God, thy words were heard, and I am come for thy word. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 21 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief prince, came to help me, and I remained there with the king of Persia. Now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people in the latter days, for yet the vision is for many days. And when he had spoken, check it out. When he had spoken such words unto me, I set my face toward the ground, and I became dumb. And behold, here you go. So, like I said, it's more than one of them now. So, if you don't understand it, you can't read this right. So, verse 15 says, and when he had spoken these words unto me, I set my face, this Gabriel, I set my face toward the ground and became dumb. Now, here you go. Here come another one. It's not Gabriel. And behold, one like the similitude of the sons of men. That's an angel. One of the other angels touched my lips. Then I opened my mouth and spake and said unto him that stood before me, O my Lord, that by the vision my sorrows are turned unto me, and I have retained no strength. So Gabriel came, entered into him, and then now he tripping. Then another angel came to settle him down. Okay, 16 and 17. And how can the servant of this my Lord talk with this my Lord? For as for me, straightway there remain no strength in me, neither is there breath left in me. Right? See that? Go back to Adam. Who breathed the breath in Adam? When you understand this, right? 18. Then there came again and touched me. Another one came unto me, one like the appearance of a son of man, and he strengthened me and said, O man, greatly beloved, fear not, peace be unto thee. Be strong, yea, be strong. And when he had spoken unto me, I was strengthened. And I said, let my Lord speak. Lord, lowercase, let my Lord speak, for thou hast strengthened me. Then said he, know thou now wherefore I come unto thee, and now I will return to fight with the prince of Persia. These are all angels. And when I am gone forth, lo, the prince of Greece shall come. But I will show thee that which is noted in the scriptures is true. There is none that holdeth with me, Gabriel talking, in these things, but Michael, your prince. That's the proper way to read that. It's the proper understanding. Okay? So, anybody got any comments? Questions before we go? Everybody
No
good?
questions. Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, so I think it was last night I saw this video right here, this UK Israel deal. And it just blew me out the water, man. So I said that's what I was going to talk about today. Nobody don't have no comments. We're going to close it out right here. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Shalom.
Shalom, everyone. Shalom.
Shalom, everyone.